looking for fearlessness, for people who will just kind of go for it. Particularly with a show like Rocky Horror, nobody can hold back.
You don't have a lot of shows where you could be yourself and be different. You know, a lot of shows are very, you have to fit into this form, and Rocky Horror is, there are no molds to be fit, you know? You can be whoever you want.
I think it represents like all the outcasts, and that's kind of what theater people tend to be, is the outcast.
I have to stretch out my mouth so I can open it.
It gives me really positive anxiety, if that makes sense, because I'm really like not super shy in my normal life, but I tend to keep to myself. But when I'm on stage, I'm big and I'm bright, and it's because I just feel comfortable there, because it gives me this really good rush.
What I try to channel on is, you know, was the arc of the character, and then towards the end is what it feels like to be an outsider your entire life and to not really feel like you're accepted, and how important it is that we remain kind to one another when we're walking through this together.
Having a fabulous time, working really hard. I absolutely love seeing them go from point A to point D or Z. We've added extras, so we've added phantoms to the show. So we have 11 phantoms, and the original is something like 4 or 6. And the challenges are getting them all synchronized.
6, 7, 8, turn 2, 3.
Good save!
And getting the timing down. And I'm largely working with a cast of non-dancers. So I'm going for not as technical movements sometimes, but maybe large. And each one of them knows how to act. So they know how to project, they know how to characterize. And so I'm using a lot of that with them. They're doing a great job, though. I'm really proud of them.
My interest is really in both in costume and in set. And I don't know, I just really like, well, I like art. I like making things. I don't mind that it's like ephemeral. People don't really realize how much goes into building the set. Like, our class is like 2 times a week for like 3 hours, and that's just not realistically enough time to get, even with as many people as we have, that's just not realistically enough time to get an entire set done. So a lot of us do have to come in, like stay later, come in on the weekends, because it's really a lot.
I'm the stage manager. I love being here in the theater and working on whatever I can, whether it's on stage or backstage. It's just being here makes me happy. No matter how tiring it is or stressful it can be sometimes, the payoff is just worth all that, and this is my happy place, really.
But I was in a play in high school. I do remember walking on stage, and I was terrified. I was playing Ado Annie in Oklahoma, and I was holding my prop basket, and it was shaking. I was so terrified. And I went on stage, and it just all went away, and I heard applause, and there were lights, and I was just sort of just that moment of knowing that I was doing something that was bringing something to other people. And also loving it while I was doing it. So, you know, my 15-year-old self just thought it was the best thing in the world, and many years later, I'm still doing it.
This show, we've got 12 mics, and then I have also mixing sound effects in. I have to make sure that the pit and the conductor can hear the cast, and then that the cast can hear the conductor.
Okay, sing!
Our tech director, Rob, he says miking is like a black art. One day, you know, everything's working fine. Next day, everything's completely screwed up. Our first night, we had completely screwed up frequencies on all the mics and receivers, and we only were able to run 5 mic packs of the 12 that we need. So obviously that was a bad night. But last night we were able to get everyone mic'd, so yeah.
With this show, there is a lot of skin, so you have to
I've definitely learned that I have to be more comfortable in my body now more than ever. I've always kind of been a little self-conscious. Part of the reason why I do theater is because I like dressing up in a costume, because I feel like the clothes make me feel amazing. And so this is new to me because I have to like basically strip all of that away and just show my complete self, like my bare self, literally out there. But I'm up for the challenge.
I think most actors that I get to work with, they say that the moment that they put their costume on is when they really suddenly feel like their character. I think that before that it's sort of still a figment of their imagination in a lot of ways. And the moment that you put a costume on, in particular for a show like this one where you have corsets that force you to move a different way, or you have a 2-foot-tall wig that requires you to restrain your movement in some way.
Get me to the church on time!
The costume can really actually help and inform the way that your body moves. And so it helps you step into the shoes, literally, of another person.
I always think like I just need to power through until I get my costume, and then I'm set, because it just helps me completely get into my like phantom aura, if you will.
We treat them like professional actors, that we train them to be working the same way that we all work outside of here. And it's important that they learn the rules and the etiquette. I'm very strict about how they treat their costumes because that's how they're expected to behave when they leave here. And so it's nice that they're just as invested in it as we are in making it the best experience that they can have.
I call us the different ones. You don't fit into certain molds of society, you know? You express yourselves through song rather than through a conversation. It's more about getting up there and being whoever you want. It's forgetting all of your worries, all of your problems, and just seeing that crowd and those lights and just living. I live when I get up there. I'm alive. I feel alive when I'm on stage.